I have two with a previous landlord/property management company. I signed a lease on a townhouse while in college that included high-speed internet. The setup was basically one shitty router for 14x townhouses, so like 28 people. Needless to say, it was shit, and the location of our unit versus the router made it worse. We made some calls to try and get them to add a router or hardwire us in so we could add our own. No dice. Eventually, I paid to get my own service and added 2x routers in our unit. I changed the SSID to match what the free router was and kept the passwords the same, so to the residents it looked like there was better coverage. After about 2 weeks, I changed one router's password and just disconnected the other. So some residents could use the free router, some had a bad password, and some could connect but couldn't reach the outside world. They must have been flooded with calls because within 24 hours they had someone out and added 3x new routers to help with coverage. The other was after a huge snowfall, minus 24" in 24 hours. The property management company hadn't touched the snow in our parking lot for days. After day 3, I called to mention we were sort of trapped and they needed to send trucks/snow blowers/etc. to take care of things. The response I got was basically, "Sorry, we'll get to it sooner or later." Side note, years ago, if you opened a Yahoo email, you could add a second email for recovery without confirming it. I created a new @Yahoo email address and used their general@property management as the alternate email. I had it copy every email to both. I then signed up for alerts for every time there was an eBay listing for a snow plow, snow blower, snow shovel, or there was a sale on X snow removal gear. It took a matter of hours before thousands of emails were sent. Ended up crashing their email server. They responded to all residents with a very nice email explaining they get the frustration and they're working on it. So I paused the alerts. 24 hours later, still nothing, alerts back on. Another email, another pause, another day of nothing, repeat. Eventually, we got the driveway plowed and life was good. Edit. Thanks for the gold. I have some more stories with the same management property I'll update with when I get to a PC. More stories. Edit. Property 1. My third year of school, myself and 5 other guys rented a 6-bedroom house from this awesome couple. Lady was the DA in town. Husband managed the houses they had. Super cool, very responsive, and just great landlords. Year 4, we stay at the house, all 6 of us, but cool owners sub the management duties out to XYZ Property Management, who control like 95% of the rentals in this town. No major changes other than everything now takes forever to get taken care of, but whatever, we deal with it. Move-out time comes and we get a call from XYZ saying they don't have a damage report for the house, so every piece of damage they find will be charged to us. We're all pissed since the house had its share of damage prior to our move-in. I called the owner, DA lady, and asked how damages are fixed if it is outside of the security deposit amount for us, and fill her in on what they're doing. She said that in the management agreement they are responsible for all damage as of the date they've taken over, unless it requires an insurance claim. She advised me to go ahead and stick them with the bill since she knew we filled out a damage sheet on move-in and we kept it in good shape. I found the original damage slip from 2 years prior, updated it accordingly with any new items, copied, crumpled it up a bit, a coffee stain or 2 for aging. And upon walkthrough, when they mentioned we would be stuck with all repairs, I presented a copy of the damage report from Outmove in 2 years prior. They then asked to have that copy and they would send us a new copy when they got back to the office, which we declined. Then they said they couldn't honor it because it wasn't their letterhead and from a prior owner, who still owned it. We called the DA and she took our side, citing that they should have taken care of then when they took over and she might have to rethink her contract with them. 100% security refund for all of us. Year 5 townhouse, 5-year plan, had our lease start on July 1st, but both my roomie and I had internships and couldn't get there until around Labor Day. I drove to the apartment to drop off a load of my stuff for the year and pick up the keys. I sign for the keys and go on my way. Within 10 seconds of walking into the apartment, an overwhelming stink rapes my nose. Someone had closed up the fridge, then unplugged it. The mold was out of control. I call them and explain what's going on and they tell me that is my problem since I didn't report it within 48 hours of July 1st, lease start date. I kindly reminded them I picked up the keys 15 minutes ago and had not been there. No luck from them. 15 minutes on Google lead me to the state health department, which my mother works for. Requirements for APTs. There is a blurb that said something along the lines of, if mold is found in X unit, all adjoining units must be tested and be giving full remediation. I called one more time and said I need a new fridge or could clean it myself, but would be withholding the portion of rent for my time and cleaning materials. They denied me. I copied all the managers at XYZ Property Management and my mother/her boss who had healthdepartment.gov email addresses. Basics of the email was what I found, photos, and a snapshot of the state statute I mentioned. Within 60 seconds of the email going out, I had a call from XYZ, an angry call. We ended up not having to pay rent for the July, August, September, and October. Final thing was XYZ always used our apartment for their showings since we had a pretty bomb-ass multi-TV and projector setup in the basement. The problem was they wouldn't give the required 24-hour heads up. They would knock with a group of people and say, sorry guys, but unit ## was supposed to let us in, but whatever excuse. Can we quick see yours so they don't have to reschedule? We always said yes because I felt bad that these other kids would get jammed up. We asked a few times that they start calling ahead, like they legally have to, but it fell on deaf ears. Eventually, we found out one of the managers who did a lot of showings had an embarrassing legal history. I used the plotter on campus to print out some of these charges, all public knowledge, and some really unflattering photos that went with each from his Facebook. We hung them all over the apartment and waited. 2 days later, random showing. The look on his face was priceless. That was the last showing he gave there. Others in the office still came by though.